Hi everybody, welcome back to another MandoLessons live, coming at you live from Maine. Kind of a cold day out here, but not too bad. Just in the 20s rather than real cold like it's been. Actually, it was really warm a couple days ago, and then it was really cold. Now it's medium. Hope you're all doing well. That was a little celebratory happy birthday to Denise, longtime MandoLessons family member, who it's birthday today. Happy birthday, Denise. I hope you have a great day. And yeah, there's a jazzy little version of happy birthday for you. We got people from all over already in here. We've got Evansville, Indiana, Idaho, Minnesota, Tel Aviv, Pittsburgh. Whoop, and the chat's jumping. County Cork, Pacific Northwest, Buffalo, New York, South Carolina, Felixstown, UK. Awesome. Northwest Ohio. Glad to see everybody coming in. See a bunch of familiar names out there and some new ones. Always good to see you. I do these most Saturdays at noon. I hope everything's coming through loud and clear for you. And yeah, looking forward to doing this again. It's always fun. I love taking questions and requests. I can only do them if they're traditional tune requests. I can't do anything copyrighted, but I've already got some. If I can remember how Hunt the Buffalo goes, I'll do it. I'm might need to look that one up, but I know it. I just can't remember how it starts, but seeing as it's a request and there's someone from Buffalo, New York, might as well do that one. Let's see, I saw some questions here already. Dan says it's 30 below, no wind in Indiana. No, wait, in Iowa. Whoo! And a foot of snow. That's exciting. 3 tune request. Oh yeah, Chips and Sauce. Great tune. I learned that about a year ago. Well, a little less than a year ago. I actually learned it in Ireland. Great A tune. I can't remember how it goes though. Hunt the Buffalo. I'll get to at some point here. And Jerusalem Ridge I can't do because it's a Monroe tune. It's copyrighted. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. But great requests. All awesome tunes. Michael says, I've been hosting Bluegrass Old Time Jams lately, and I've been having trouble with people sticking to that style of music. Any suggestions for teaching jam etiquette? Yeah, that's a hard thing, and that's something that I'm struggling with. I'm organizing an old time weekend here in Maine in the summer with a bunch of people. It's not just me, but that's always a constant sort of thing, is trying to differentiate between bluegrass and old time. Because while they're related, they're very different kind of jam etiquette styles. In old-time music, you'll stay in one key for a long time. There's no solos or breaks. Often less song-dependent and more tune-based. You'll stay in one key so the fiddle players can cross-tune and the banjo players can stay in one key. You'll play tunes for a long time, whereas in bluegrass, you're playing songs and trading breaks and improvising and things like that. That doesn't really happen. I think one thing is just to sort of, I think you got to be, it's a little awkward. You got to be clear though about what it is you're trying to accomplish, and maybe if you can break it, if it's a bluegrass and old time session. I don't know if that was your question, is whether you're trying to differentiate between bluegrass and old time, or if you're trying to stick to those two and then people are coming in with pop songs, things like that. That's a tricky one. I think being friendly but firm about what is kind of your vision, because you want to have your vision be what it is. And so I think just like kind of open communication about what you're after, other places that people can go to play the other kinds of music they're looking for, that sort of stuff. All right, let's see if I can get in some tunes here. New wave capo, and it's great, doesn't get in the way. Awesome, Lawrence. Glad to hear that. I was talking about that last week. Awesome. More folks from Minnesota, Washington. Sean says my great grandparents were from Searsport, Maine. That's where the old time thing I was just talking about is. Oh boy, okay. I'm missing a lot of chat. It's really flying along. I love to see that. Makes it an exciting time for me to try to keep up, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be posting. I love seeing what everybody has to say. Where's the accordion? The accordion is up just off, well, maybe not quite off screen. Let's see if I can get my hand right in the right spot. There's my accordion, right next to another accordion. Maybe I'll bust that out someday. Wow, it's cold all over. All right, Strawberry Farm Band from New Hampshire. Good New Englanders, good to see ya. Cold Frosty Morning. Yeah, I'll play a little bit of that. Sneak peek. I just yesterday spent the day recording a solo clawhammer banjo album, and I recorded that tune. There'll be more information on that in the future about where to listen to it and buy it and stuff like that. But a little Cold Frosty Morning, then I'll catch up with the rest of the chat. That's not the right key. Alrighty, there's a little bit of Cold Frosty Morning. And what else? All right, we got a super chat donation. Thank you so much. Where'd it go? It just disappeared. It was Andrew with the class. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the super chat donation. For those of you who don't know, there's a couple ways to donate. Help me keep doing these live sessions and putting out new lessons every week. You can do super chats here. You can do PayPal one-time donations through my website. There's a donate button in the corner. There's also, you can become a member on Patreon, which is a small monthly recurring donation. Also gets you access to lessons early. I do monthly sort of patron only versions of this where the chat goes by a little slower and I can really dive in deep with people's questions. I love doing that. And all sorts of other rewards over there, so you can check that out. It's through the donate button on my website. But thank you again, Andrew, for keeping the fires burning here. Loch Lomond, don't know all the words to that. I don't really know any of the words to that one. But it's a great song. All right, we got a lot of folks from the cold north. Glad to see that. Somebody says, how can I Lauren says, how can I donate? I don't know exactly the process, but there is a little kind of $ button below the chat where you type in the chat. You might need to connect up a card or have a YouTube account to some extent. I don't know exactly how it works. I've done it in the past, but it's been a little while, and I forget how that works on your end. Maybe somebody can help Lauren out. Any advice on how to find where jams are taking place? I don't know where to start looking. I would go to Mandolin Cafe, the forum section, and there's a whole forum section called Jams and Places to Meet, I think, and you can just post in there saying like, hey, I live in the middle of nowhere in Maine, who's around that wants to play some music? You could also just Google your kind of probably the biggest city closest to you or wherever you'd be willing to go to that you think might have something going on, and then old time or whatever, music jam, traditional music, see what there is out there. But I think the Mandolin Cafe forum is a great way to get started. Can I play one of my own songs? Sure. I've written a couple tunes. I'll play this fun little tune. There's actually a lesson for it on my website. It's called Graduation Reel. Wrote it for my friend's high school graduation a long time ago now, probably over 10 years ago. Sounds like this. Key A. Ooh. There it is. That was too fast. I should have slowed it down a little bit. But I got all excited. That's called Graduation Reel. There is a lesson for it over on my website. You can find it by going to like search tunes by genre, and then I think there's an original section, or you can look under key of A, or you can just search the word graduation and you'll find it on my website, MandoLessons.com. Free lesson on how to learn it by ear, but I also have the tablature. It's a little notey of a tune, but I enjoy playing that one. Arkansas, great. Fort Wayne, Indiana, good to have you here. Plymouth, Mass. Melvin Wine's Cold Frosty Morning. I love that tune. Man, Wormpicker, you got great taste in tunes. I'll play a little bit of that one. This is a cross tune for fiddle players, but I play it out of standard position. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. There we have it. I love that tune on all the instruments. Melvin Wine's Cold Frosty Morning. So apparently the other Cold Frosty Morning that I played first is maybe properly known as just Frosty Morning. But everybody in New England that I've ever heard calls it Cold Frosty Morning, so that's what I call it, because I really have never run into anyone calling it Frosty Morning. At least around here, but I've kind of seen a lot of stuff online about that. And maybe like the source recording was just Frosty Morning. Maybe it picked up the cold from Melvin Wine's version and got added to a different tune. But in any case, both tunes are great. Those are some of my favorite tunes. Awesome. Matthew says he played a contra dance over the holidays. That's great. Says it was a big band, so I was able to stumble along. That's totally how I got going. There's a great all-comers contra dance here in Maine, right in my town that I now live in, but I didn't live here when I first started joining in with that band and playing a tune or two when I knew them. It's a great way to get out and play music with some people, and playing for dancers is really just an awesome experience, really a great physical connection between the music and the community and dancing. It doesn't get any better, so I'm glad you got the opportunity to do that. Rob says, excellent CFM top. Oh, Cold Frosty Morning. Nice. I was like, CFM. I don't know what that stands for. Cool. Yeah, I love that tune. Let's see. Whoops. Chat just jumped. I don't know why the chat can't just stay in one place. Lauren says, for what it's worth. A great song, but that's going to be a copyrighted one, unfortunately. I used to listen to that song all the time when I was younger. A foggy and mild Vancouver Island. Awesome. Glad to have you here. Wow. Daffodils on their way. That's special. How do you become a Patreon member from Have Dog Will Travel? So you can go to MandoLessons.com, my website. There's also a link in the description of this video. It says Patreon and then the link. And it's a small monthly donation of your choosing. It can be $1, $5, $10, up and up from there. And at different tiers, you get a different amount of kind of rewards from that. And So at $1 a month, you get the lessons early, 1 day early. I put them out on Wednesdays for patrons, and also you get free access to the play along tracks as downloads. At $5, you get access to the monthly kind of private live session. Those are a lot of fun. And then you can check out all the tiers over there for becoming a Patreon member. Greatly appreciated. It's a great way to. I kind of can often lose a lot of comments in the YouTube videos, but on Patreon we've got a great community of folks, and it's easier for me to keep track of questions that people have. There's a Discord server if people use Discord. Lots of great ways to stay in touch. So thanks for asking, and maybe I'll see you over there. Aljaz, apologies, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing your name properly. It says, can you explain the history, your history of playing instruments? When did you start playing? Are you schooled? What are the instruments you've played? So yeah, I started playing the mandolin when I was in like middle school, right? Or shortly before high school. About when I was 10 or 11. And I heard a bluegrass band. I heard Nickel Creek, kind of a kind of contemporary, kind of pop bluegrass band. Heard Chris Thiele, who now runs Live From Here, with the Punch Brothers and all that. And I didn't even know what the instrument was, and I was like, wow, that's a cool sound. And then the family friend's house I was at, I was like, oh, it's a mandolin. I've got one here. Let me show you a G chord. And I kind of got into it that way. So I heard the instrument and was like, I want to do that. And I didn't have any. I think I had taken like 6 months of piano lessons many years before, but didn't really remember anything. But then I just got the mandolin, and really I learned mostly online because I grew up in rural Maine, where there weren't a whole lot of other mandolin players. There's a lot of fiddles, and kind of there's a great New England music tradition, but I was kind of listening to bluegrass and didn't know much about the New England fiddling tradition. So I looked at a lot of stuff on Mandolin Cafe, and really learned from the internet and sort of the internet mandolin community. I had a friend that I was learning to play mandolin with at the same time, and that was super helpful. And yeah, from there I ended up going to Maine Fiddle Camp, which is a great camp in Maine, not just for fiddles. There's mandolins and guitars and banjos and cellos and every instrument you can imagine, where we really focus on the New England traditional music and Irish music and old time music, and really the fiddle tune side of things, which is what always grabbed me most about bluegrass, was that the fiddle tunes. There's like a dozen or two fiddle tunes that you'll often hear at bluegrass festivals, which I was going to at the time, and I always liked those fiddle tunes best, and I just assumed there were only a couple dozen of them. And then I went to Maine Fiddle Camp and learned that there's more Irish tunes than you could ever learn in 3 lifetimes, and more old-time tunes, and Quebec tunes, and Swedish tunes, and English tunes, and Scottish tunes, and Cape Breton tunes, and the list goes on and on and on. And I really was like, okay, this is what's really interesting to me. And from there, so I had mostly been self-taught, but then I started learning tunes from kind of just my friends that I made at Maine Fiddle Camp. I ended up going to school out in Western Massachusetts at Hampshire College for music. I studied a lot of jazz and music theory and some traditional music. I took some classes. There's a great ethnomusicology program at Hampshire, so I did some old time and Irish music out there as well, and started playing for contra dances out there. And then I picked up the tenor guitar, which is a 4-string guitar that I tuned kind of like the mandolin as kind of the main second instrument that I started playing. Then I got a 6-string guitar. Then I got a clawhammer banjo. Then I got accordion. Then I got a pedal steel, tenor banjo. So I play a lot of stringed instruments at this point, and mostly folk music. I don't play fiddle. I tried it for a little bit, but it was a little kind of rough on my muscles and tendons and stuff, so I put that down for the time being. But I also get to play and with there's a lot of great fiddle players around, so I'm not at any lack of being able to hear the fiddle, so no loss there on my end. I think that was all of your questions. Yeah, so it was kind of, mostly self-taught at first. Then I went to school, Learned about jazz and music theory, things like that. But ultimately, I mostly just play fiddle tunes, and I learn tunes from my friends and by ear and at sessions, and occasionally from written music, but mostly by ear. And yeah, just I try to maximize having fun with the instrument. I think that's a great way to go. If you can have fun, it's all the better, and the quicker you'll progress. Cool. James says there's a Facebook group, called Old Time Open Jams that has a map of open jams across the globe. That's good to know. I have to check that out. Can you run a bunch of licks through G to E minor, G to E minor, D to G from the Pelican? Good to see you. Yeah, sure. So there's something like pretty. Let me get my little switch going here. So that's kind of a good way to a little double stop lick as an example. You've got your two middle strings, D and A, and your 5th fret on the D string, and 2nd fret on the A. It's a nice little G double stop. Then you're going to walk that D string down, 5, 4, 2, and you end up with 2, 2. So you're at 5, 2, 4, 2, 2, 2. It's a great little kind of bluegrassy way to get from G to E minor. So you could do that maybe twice. And then D. So then we're going to do this little D double stop, which is an open A string, and 4th fret on the D string. So we have 2, 4, so, and again. Then we're going to have that D double stop. So we have D double stop. Then on the A string, just down the scale, up and down the scale. 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 5 on the D, 4. 0, 2, 4, 5, and that brings us back to our G. So the whole thing together sounds like this. And one more time. D. There you go. So that's a little example. How much does a tone guard cost? It's around $70. Somebody said a little lower. They're about $70. Sometimes you can get them for like $50 if you find them used on the Mandolin Cafe Classifieds. You can post if you're really looking for a used one, post a wanted ad on the Mandolin Cafe Classifieds, and somebody might have one laying around that they're willing to sell you. But I think new they're 70 or 75. Wow, you can get them on Amazon now? Cool. I think if you look up, it's a little hard to find. If you look up tone guard, and because there's no U in tone guard, it's GARD. I think is how it's written, so it's a little harder to search for. But maybe if you look up that, you'll find some more options. Oh, what happened here? Cool. Lauren says, I'm getting together with a studio in West Virginia with about 70 kids to teach them mandolin basics and simple fiddle tunes. Awesome. Spread the good word. Oh, I'm still on the close-up screen. That sounds like a super fun thing to do. I'm going to go do a kind of a school gig out on an island sometime in February, I think, that I'm really looking forward to. It's always fun to get the kids excited about music. Cool. Vincent says, I love Nickel Creek. Haven't heard them in a while, though. Yeah, I think they made an album like 3 or 4 years ago, but I haven't really listened to it. Tennessee Waltz, unfortunately, is a copyrighted tune. I wish I could do that one. Ooh, Clinch Mountain Backstep. I think this there's a little, I think that's Clinch Mountain Backstep. I always get that tune, it's similar to some other tunes, so I get it mixed up a little bit. But hopefully that was most of it anyway. Cool, Jan says he's got a music performance tomorrow at a nursing home after church. Have fun with that. That's a lot of, I've played in nursing homes before. Super fun. Really rewarding way to make some music. Pelican says, how about some Cluck Old Hen? Great tune. Here we go. Alrighty, there it is. A little bit of Cluck Old Hen. Super fun one with a lot of great words too. Din says, how about some tips for jazz playing? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's a couple lessons on my website about kind of getting those more complicated chord shapes under your fingers. That sort of stuff. I think playing off of 3 strings, just your G, D, and A strings when it comes to playing chords is super helpful. There's also a couple great books out there. There's Getting Into Jazz Mandolin, which is a great book on kind of chord and scale stuff, you know, for the mandolin and jazz. Also, Aaron Weinstein just put out a great book, I guess it's probably over a year now, on chord melodies for mandolin. If you don't know Aaron, check out you can Google or look him up on YouTube, Aaron Weinstein, I think is how you say his last name. Great jazz fiddle player, also jazz mandolin player. He does amazing chord melody arrangements of kind of popular jazz standards that you can post them on YouTube. He just put one up a couple days ago that was beautiful. So check out that stuff, Aaron's book, and also Getting Into Jazz Mandolin. There's also, again, Mandolin Cafe Forum is huge for this sort of stuff. See what people over there have for tips. I don't play that much jazz anymore. Since I got out of college, I've kind of really gone back to fiddle tunes at this point, but I still love trying anyway. Whoop, and the chat jumps. Recovering Bassist says, I'm trying to get up the confidence to go out and play in nursing homes. Do it, absolutely. You know, I think sometimes you just got to take that jump and go for it. People in nursing homes are really going to enjoy getting some nice music in and hearing it. I know it really brings joy to a lot of people. So I'd say jump in there and go for it. It's a great way to get into playing in front of people. Uncle Bobby says, I haven't been able to find an accordion lesson channel. Are you looking for a piano accordion or button accordion? I don't know of any either, but there's probably at least forums. I know if you're playing button accordion, melodian.net is the big button accordion website. I'm sure there's one for piano accordion too, but I don't know much about that one. Cool. Recovering Bassist is also doing accordion lessons. Bill Monroe Rawhide, once again, Bill Monroe stuff is going to be copyrighted, unfortunately. Oh, Uncle Bobby says, what tune were you demoing? I can't remember because that was so long ago. Let's see, I played a Clinch Mountain Backstep. I can't remember what else I did. Cluck Old Hen. I can't remember when. It's hard to tell when you actually wrote that because I can't keep up with the chat. Stanley Brothers. Okay, yeah, Clinch Mountain Backstep. Earl's Chair. That's a great tune. Lewis says he's also been doing the nursing home circuit. Yeah, it's true. And a lot of that, old time and bluegrass stuff and some of like the kind of New England classic tunes, a lot of folks in nursing homes will have grown up maybe dancing to that music or hearing it more than kind of your average population of people, just because the tunes are often, like span the generations. So older folks who might have spent their kind of social time dancing or listening to this kind of music, they love hearing that sort of stuff. We got a request for Earl's Chair and Whiskey Before Breakfast. I'll play a little Earl's Chair. I love that tune. I think I can play it. There it is, Earl's Chair. Great tune, great Irish tune. One of my favorites. I think there's a lesson for that on the website. And Whiskey Before Breakfast, of course. Love that tune. Old time tune in the key of D. There we go, a little bit of Whiskey Before Breakfast, nice mellower version, just to change it up a little bit. Let's see. Again, the chat has jumped. Is Cluck Old Hen on my site? I'm pretty sure it is. Teetotalers or Temperance Reel. I've been meaning to do Temperance Reel for a long time. I don't think I've actually done it yet, but it's on the list. Cool, learning to do it on the concertina. That's great. I love the concertina. I have an English concertina that I play occasionally. Although Anglo is also tempting. Too many instruments, too little time. Is your strap attached to the tail nut? I'm always afraid of it slipping off. It is. Let me see if I can get the other view here. So yeah, I've just got it over this. It's on pretty tight. Doesn't slip off. There's a chance that that wooden pin can come out, but it's in there pretty hard on this one. So yeah, it's a little scary, but so far so good. Actually, it did drop off once and it fell right on the headstock and put a tiny little. I got lucky, just kind of chipped the headstock a little bit. David Benedict also has some good jazz mandolin videos on his YouTube channel. Yep, he's also got a great series, Mandolin Mondays. Every Monday, he's got a new guest artist up there playing some whatever they're interested in. It's a great thing to look forward to on a Monday. Lesson on Devil Went Down to Georgia. That's a contemporary song that's copyrighted, so unfortunately I can't do that one. My accordion channel. Someday I'd love to do an accordion channel. Cool. What is that name? Google name? That's an interesting screen name, but Google name says, "Hey Baron, just got a Kentucky Cam 252 today. Thanks for all the tutorials." Cool. Congrats on the new mandolin and happy picking. Those are great mandolins. Played bass in bands for years. Trying to get confident to go out as a single seems hard to me. I think you can do it. Just jump out there and it'll be easier than you think after the first time. The hardest part is just getting out and doing it. Before Clinch Mountain Backstep, I can't remember. Cold Frosty Morning. Oh, the A major Cold Frosty Morning? I think that was probably the tune. Limehouse Blues. I wish I could do Limehouse Blues. That's a complicated one. If you're looking for a cool version of that to listen to, check out the Mills Brothers doing Limehouse Blues. A whole a cappella arrangement of it. Really great stuff. I love the Mills Brothers. Hoping for a lesson on, Clumsy Lover. I don't know that one. Cool. Kevin says he's building his first mandolin as you watch this. Can't wait to make it sing. Cool. Yeah, keep us posted on that. It's a fun project. Rise by Eddie Vedder, unfortunately also copyrighted. Earlier request, a lesson on Devil Went Down to Georgia, copyrighted. Recovering Bassist, thank you so much for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. Looks like I'm falling behind the chat here, but appreciate the contribution. Anglo for the win, says Sean. Hello from Oklahoma. Thanks for joining. Do you know any classical mandolin? Not really. I've done a little bit of the. It's been too long. I used to know that whole little prelude. There's definitely sheet music and tablature out there. It's a great way to, the rhythm on that tune isn't super weird, so it's a great way to get. I learned a lot from that, kind of transferring from tablature. I was very tab addicted into learning sheet music. It's kind of a struggle, but there's it's pretty much just straight notes the whole time. It's got that kind of pattern through the whole thing, so you don't have to worry too much about the rhythm. You can really focus just on the notes. But I'm sure you can also find it in tablature. Cool. Lewis said he just finished reading the Tony Rice story, Still Inside. Very informative of some of the history of bluegrass musicians of our time. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know about that book. I'll see if I can check it out. JN, unfortunately, I still haven't had time to look at Yarmouth Reel, but one of these days, keep asking me, and one of these days I will get to it. Road to Columbus. I can never remember how that one goes. I also wonder if that's trad. I think it's trad, but I don't honestly know. It could be a Bill Monroe tune or a Kenny Baker tune. Cool. Dorasco says I got Eastman MD 305 last Christmas. Cool. Also great mandolin. There's lots of great mandolins out there. Any tips for level 2 lefty mandolins? I got a cheap lefty and it's pretty good, but I might want to go to the next level. I would say look for like an Eastman or a Kentucky. I don't know if they do lefties or not. I think Eastman does some lefties. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe somebody else here can ask. That's a great question to ask on Mandolin Cafe. You know, give people your price range and what kind of music you play, and that you play left-handed, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. Sean says, I liked your tutorial on Mason's Apron, the 2-part, and around here it's always more, 5 parts. Would love to hear a longer version. Cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of different versions of that tune. Yeah. The same with, what's that other one? There's some tune that, Fox Hunter's Slip Jig. I know, like, people around here play a 2-part version, but there's also, like, a 4-part version that's out there that's, people are always like, oh, what are the other parts? But I have the 2-part version. But yeah, I'll look up that 5-part version. I think I've heard Mason's Apron with more parts. And maybe that would be a good thing to add to the site. Dave 11F says, been learning Coleman's March. Cool. Yeah, that's a great, people don't know that one. Great old time tune in the key of D. Really lovely tune. Check it out. Glad you're enjoying it, Dave. James says, do you have a favorite chord or theory book? I would say, not books necessarily. I think the Getting Into Jazz Mandolin book, if you're into jazz, can be good. Also, musictheory.net is great. It's got everything. It's got kind of like the visual aspect. It's got ear training. It's all free. It's online. It's interactive. That's a great way to kind of get into theory, but then also finding a way to put that theory into practice and like sight reading some music, things like that are really going to help you out. And kind of, I started learning music theory before I really started putting it to use as a musician, and I kind of got it on a theoretical level, but it didn't really make sense to me. I like knew enough to like pass a test, but I was sort of like, this doesn't really mean anything to me, until I really started kind of speaking that language as I was playing the music itself. And kind of thinking about 1, 4, 5 chords and like scale degrees, chord inversions, things like that are all part of folk music. It's just we don't often need to talk about them that way, because kind of the folk process is to learn by ear rather than think about and discuss things with music theory. Yeah, it's hard because tabs are also super helpful, but they also are really limiting. And once you learn to kind of read tablature, it's very one-to-one, but it can really keep people from looking at sheet music as well. It's too bad. Lonesome Feeling, I don't know that one. Lonesome Moonlight Waltz, I can never remember how that one goes. Cool, thank you, Den, for the kind words. Keep up the good work yourself, and keep on picking. Trouble on the Mind, I don't know that one. East Tennessee Blues, yeah, sure. Oh no, I just put in the Ellen and Rag. I'll try that again. There it is, a little East Tennessee Blues. Great tune. Let's see. Lesson on Charlie's March. Great tune. Pig in a Pen. Bill Monroe tune. Copyrighted. Have I ever played a banjo mandolin? Yes, actually, that story I was telling earlier about hearing mandolin at my family friend's house. He actually sent me home with a banjo mandolin. It was the first thing I ever learned on. Really cool sounding instruments. The one that I was playing, the one that I learned on had action that was really, really high. I didn't know any different at the time. I didn't know what action was at the time, but I played it a couple years ago and the action's really high. I'm kind of surprised I was able to push the strings down to the frets. See what else we got. Getting towards the end. If someone can remind me what this week's play along jam is, when I get to the end of reading these comments, we'll do that. And I can never remember. And I think Denise took off to do her birthday festivities. Once again, happy birthday, Denise. Everybody wish her a happy birthday. She'll see it later on when she catches up with the rest of the lesson. Mason's apron on his channel. Is there such a thing as bluegrass tuba? I hope so. I've never heard one, but that sounds great. Peggy says I play left-handed. My music teacher at the time just turned the bridge, nut, and strings around. Yeah, that's a quick fix. You know, you might be able to get the mandolin to play and sound a little better if you get the work done to get like a new nut made. Maybe that's what you mean. Yeah, that totally can work. The bracing on the inside is a little different. The sort of bass side is carved for the bass tone of for that. It's sort of built to be this way, but that said, there's some mandolins that you can just flip around. Definitely an option. I don't know much about that. I would maybe ask on Mandolin Cafe before doing that to your own instrument, though. Cool. Glad you're enjoying it, Sean. Thanks for the kind words. Keep on picking. Who is your all-time favorite mandolin player? It's so hard. There's so many good ones. I mean, Chris Thiele got me into it. I love Sam Bush. I love Andy Statman. David Grisman. I had a big Grisman period. Caleb Clodder maybe is my current mandolin hero. Yeah, so many mandolin players out there. Yeah, lots of good stuff. It's hard to choose. Kevin says Super Chat donation isn't available in my region. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't know how it works on YouTube, but you said you'll donate another way. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. There are a couple ways to donate on the website. I'll Fly Away. I think that's... Oh, Far Away. That's a good tune. That's a Peter Young tune. I think at this point I might... Okay, Old French is this week's play-along. I'm going to do that because I've got 5 minutes left and I got to head out right at the end. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to skip through some of this chat, but thank you all for chiming in. Old French it is. It's in the key of D. The way these work, get your mandolin out and tuned up if it's not already. We'll play through the tune Old French. It's on my website. If you don't know the tune, see if you can pick up a little as we go. This is a little bit more notey of a tune, but a great one to know. One of my favorite contradance tunes of all time. It's in the key of D. I won't play it too fast. And if it's too fast the way I'm playing it now, once the video archives, you can go back and slow it down later on. There's also a lesson on how to learn this tune on my website. And yeah, we'll go back and forth. So I'll play the melody and you can play the chords. Then I'll play the chords, you play the melody. Goes to the A. In the B part, it goes to an A chord right off the top. So the B part goes straight into an A chord, and it's likely A and G, I think. I can't remember, but we'll find out. So yeah, what is this tune called? Old French. And let me just make sure I'm caught up with the chat here. All right, Dan, good to see you. Have fun and catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in. All right, Shari has a quick question about what's the best advice for a beginner player. very beginner, I'd say go to my website and check out the beginner series. Starts right off from knowing nothing about how to hold the instrument all the way through playing your first song, chords, and tune. Beyond that, I'd say maximize having fun and get out there and play with people as quickly as possible. All right, so Old French. You take the melody. A2. B. B2. You play the chords, I'll play the melody. You take the melody. A2. B. Let's both play the melody together. There you go. It's Old French. I never get tired of that tune. So, what should it be next week? Pick a tune that's preferably on my website, so you can look up, for people who don't know the tune, you can look up the lesson and learn it between now and then. Probably nothing super complicated, just so people can hang on to it, so it's kind of good for everybody. Kitchen Girl. Ooh, that's a good. So I'll steer away from I'll Fly Away, because I don't. Mostly you're doing fiddle tunes for this section of the lesson, but maybe we'll do a song at some point. Kitchen Girl. If we haven't done Kitchen Girl yet, that sounds like a great idea. Let me just go look real quick. We've got a little list. So on my website, if you click on the live Q&A button on the left-hand side of MandoLessons.com, you can look at what I'm just about to look up now, which is the oops, wrong one. There's a MandoLessons live episode guide, and let's see here. It's got links to all of the. Hey, come on! I know it's in there. My search isn't working. It says there's no Kitchen Girl, but I'm sure I played Kitchen Girl before here. Well, yeah, all right, let's do Kitchen Girl. Unless somebody says we've done it here. I think we did Red Haired Boy recently. Yeah, we did Red Haired Boy actually last week. So if you look up episode 40, you can follow along with the Red Haired Boy lesson. But let's do Kitchen Girl. Great tune. It's on my website. Classic old time tune in the key of A. And yeah, so thank you all so much for joining in today. Yeah, these are all great suggestions. Salt Creek will be another good one, maybe another week after next week. But let's stick with Kitchen Girl for now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Great to see you on another Saturday. Should be here next week as well. Let me just take a quick look. Whoa, next week is Saturday. Yeah, I should be here next week. Looking forward to it already. Have a great weekend and see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.